Thank you, Maggie, and thanks everyone for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm actually an alumni of Open Lab at UHN, so I just want to give a shout out. Wouldn't be doing what I'm doing without them. So the number one question I get from entrepreneurs entering healthcare is, I have a product that actually helps patients, so why won't a hospital pay for it? I'm going to try and answer this question by talking about how I've come to think about building a new category in enterprise healthcare, AKA, how do you sell a product type that a hospital has never bought before? And I'm going to use my company, SeamlessMD, as an example. So what do? We help hospitals implement and optimize enhanced recovery after surgery pathways. We do that by providing the leading ERAS technology platform for patient engagement, care management, and quality improvement. Our technology has been proven by academic evidence to reduce length of stay, ER visits, and costs. And are used by a lot of fantastic hospitals, many of which are in Canada, but some in the US as well. Now, for those of you who have heard of SeamlessMD, this ERAS acronym might be unfamiliar. And when we talk to the public, friends, and family, this is what we say, and this is probably what you're familiar with. You know, we provide the leading platform on smartphones, tablets, and computers to guide patients from preparation all through recovery. But when we speak to hospitals, we talk about ERAS. Does anyone here actually know what ERAS is? Yeah, so when I started this company 4 years ago, I didn't know either. But when we speak with organizations, the way we communicate our company is, well, we help you implement and optimize ERAS faster and more effectively. Now, again, I didn't know what this was a couple of years ago, but today I am confident that enhanced recovery after surgery will be the standard of care for surgery within the next 5 years in North America. I am confident that SeamlessMD will be a critical reason why that happens. And my hope is that by the end of this talk, you will understand why this concept is so important to us and hopefully give you a better sense of what it takes to build a new category. So here are my 5 steps for building a new category to sell into hospitals. Number 1, solve a problem that no other company thinks is important. 4 years ago, we weren't the first to think about applying technology for patient engagement. But pretty much every company was focused on applying this concept for chronic disease, heart failure, diabetes, etc. And so when everyone was going right, we decided to go left, and we decided to focus on surgery. And that allowed us to build category leadership, and is one of the best decisions we've ever made. Step number 2, avoid hospitals to start and go after lower hanging fruit. As a startup, time is your most precious asset, and you want to get data and evidence as quickly as possible. We didn't follow this advice. It took us 12 months to get our first hospital contract, and there are many companies that just can't wait or can't survive that long. In fact, today, we're established in the market. It can still take 6 to 12 months to land a hospital contract. Contrast that with if you worked with a surgery clinic. You can meet the decision maker, maybe a surgeon in the first day, sign a contract right then and there, and start working. And so if I could go back in time, I would actually have spent the first year probably just working with surgery clinics, evolving the product, building evidence, and then start working with the larger institutions. Step 3, when you're finally ready to make the transition to hospitals, start with the academic ones. We've had the fortune of working with some fantastic academic partners, Toronto East General, now called Michael Guerin, McGill, Sunnybrook, UHN, and so forth. And working with academic hospitals is incredibly valuable for a few reasons. The first is there are lots of early adopters there. The second is they're home to lots of centers for excellence. So a lot of the other hospitals look to them for thought leadership. They look to them for what technology they're using. Third reason is because they're academic centers, they're just incredibly great at building medical evidence, which you need to get adoption in this market. And then for all of those reasons, they make incredibly powerful references when you start trying to get into other institutions. So most certainly, for example, when we're in the US, everyone's heard of McGill and the work they've done with us in enhanced recovery after surgery. Step 4, and this is the most important but the hardest one, align yourself with a growing top 5 priority for an organization. I really believe that within the next 5 years, this type of technology will be standard of care for surgery. But it's not a top 5 priority right now for hospitals to buy this kind of technology for patient engagement. So how do we make it a top 5 priority? And then a couple of years ago, we learned about this concept called enhanced recovery after surgery, which is a model of care for surgery that's spreading very quickly across North America right now. It started in Europe 20 years ago. Now it's here. And most organizations in North America are making it a priority to do this model. 3 years ago, we said, you know what? Let's start working on this model, see how it fits with our platform. Fast forward to today, we completely focus on this model with our product. We're the only company focused on ERAS with technology. We're the only company with evidence for ERAS for technology, and it's making a huge difference in adoption right now. Step 5, and frankly, we're still working on this, execute on a vision that's actually going to grow the market. So, again, we really believe enhanced recovery after surgery will be the standard of care. We really believe we're going to be the technology partner to do that. No other company actually believes that. And my point is, don't be afraid to pick a path to the market that no one else actually believes in. So those are my 5 steps. Thanks for listening, and I'd love to answer any questions. Oh, Brett.
Just a quick question. Who are the decision makers in hospitals? That should be your first point of contact if you are thinking about trying. So if you are, is this on? Yeah, if you are thinking about approaching a hospital as a potential client, who would be the pathway in? Who's that first decision maker? What's the path of least resistance to at least get the discussion started?
Yeah, so the answer changes depending on the product you're selling. I think what we found important is, at least for a clinical product like ours, you definitely need a clinical champion of some sort. So typically for us, it's a surgeon, a champion who has influence and authority, maybe the head of the orthopedics department or someone like that. They're often not the ultimate decision maker, but they can champion and then bring you to the right person who might be a VP or a C-suite member. Over there.
Hi, can you speak a little about evidence, how much is needed, what type to move from the lower fruit to hospitals, academic hospitals, and so forth? Thanks.
Yeah, so in medicine, we talk a lot about gold standard evidence, randomized control trials, et cetera. I think in our experience, something that quality is not necessarily needed. But most organizations like to see at least some sort of evidence that this has been used somewhere else, the feasibility has been done, patient safety has been proven. So even anywhere from a 50 or 100 patient sample size, even if it's not published research data, as long as a case study has been done of that size with a reputable organization, that's often quite good enough. But certainly the more, the better. Can we take one more? Or? Okay.
I was just wondering, in your experience with a startup, what's the most important lesson that you think you've learned and why?
So I think for me, and I come from the medical world, and business is often a little bit of a taboo subject, and so is selling, but I think I've learned that actually sales and being able to sell is an incredibly important skill that's relevant both in startups but also anything else. So, as a CEO of this company, a lot of what I do is sell. I have to sell our vision, our roadmap to our current team members and to new hires. I have to sell product to customers, and I have to sell shares to investors. So, but even outside that, if you're a clinician in an organization trying to do change management, you got to sell a new idea. If you're trying to make change in your community, you have to sell to your citizens. So I think selling is an incredibly important skill, startup or otherwise. Thank you.